Welcome to HSBC Global Viewpoint, the podcast series that brings together business leaders and industry experts to explore the latest global insights, trends, and opportunities. Make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with new episodes. Thanks for listening, and now on to today's show.
Hello from Hong Kong and welcome to Under the Banyan Tree, where we put Asian markets and economics in context. I'm Fred Newman, Chief Asia Economist here at HSBC.
And I'm Harold van der Linden, Head of Asian Equity Strategy. For years we've been hearing about autonomous driving in China. But things are really taking off now. And we've got some numbers that are actually pretty astonishing.
That's right, and joining us to bring those numbers to you is our special guest for the week, Yuqian, Head of China Autos Research, who's been across the story from the very beginning.
Plus, the latest on the nationwide autonomous driving rollout, technology and competition with the US. We've got a lot to get through, so let's get started. From HSBC Global Investment Research, you're listening to Under the Banyan Tree. Yuqian, welcome onto the podcast. You've written a report about autonomous driving in China. Now, I'll be very frank, I think I've been seeing people writing or hearing about this for 10 years now. If me and Fred go to China now and say, I want to buy an autonomous car, can I buy one?
You can buy it this month. One of the leading smart EV company, XPeng, will launch a new model GX this month, and it will come up with a robotaxi version. And that robotaxi version can both serve the purpose of a private car as well as robotaxi if you want it. And also, I would update, it's a commercial viable service. So if you travel to Shenzhen, Nanshan area, you can actually hail a robotaxi to take you to the place you want to go. And there will be no driver sitting in the driver's seat.
So let's put some numbers around this. So there are certain areas in China where, just like in the U.S., you can now hail a autonomous cab within a certain area. How many of these autonomous taxis are now in operation in China and the U.S., and where do you think this will go? Are we talking about 200-300 going to 1,000 maybe, or what are we talking about in terms of numbers?
Yeah, in China we currently have give or take around 5,000 robotaxis running.
Over the whole of China, so all these different cities, all these different pilot projects.
And this is roughly the same as the U.S.? Or?
Yeah, I would say similar. China-U.S. in terms of the commercial attraction is largely similar. Mm-hmm. And in China, we do see by 2030 about 500,000 robotaxi fleet on road.
You go from 5,000 now to 500,000 in 5 years' time.
Well, you know, 2030 is only 4 years away, if that, 3 years.
3 years, 100-time expansion. So making a car is a commodity in China. So it's really about the technology, including the sensors to the processors to the softwares. So we do see the sensors, the hardware's cost is coming down.
But let me ask you on the technology, because I mean you have an enormous expansion here. You're saying we're going to 500,000 of these taxis in 3 years. Have we perfected all of this? Is really adoption ready for the broader public to use?
Yes, it's already ready. So let's say the current robotaxi company can running no disengagement, no human intervention for tens of thousands of miles. In that sense, it's basically commercial viable and reliable robotaxi service. So I would say technology is ready.
Mm-hmm. Have you looked at some of the accident statistics? Are they doing better than humans driving? Is it actually safer to have tens, thousands of these vehicles on the road, or is there still a risk that they occasionally do quite a fatal mistake?
Like
yeah, I would say machine is indeed better. They have better sensors. They have more processing power. So basically, as the software progressing, it drives more in a mature way. So I would say 10 years ago when we test drive it, it feels like a green driver. Now it's a pretty experienced, calm driver.
So let's take a hypothetical situation. There's a robotaxi, it drives on the street, and there's a man that is crossing that street, and there's a collision. The man breaks his leg, he needs to go to hospital, and he sues. Who? How does that work insurance-wise? Have they thought that through?
I think there's a clear protocol. So first of all these robo-taxis is equipped with cameras, so they record everything. And everything they can see. So any accident can be clearly defined. So which party need to be responsible for that?
Let's say in this case the robo-taxi clearly made a mistake. It was a glitch or it didn't see something. The guy came from behind a tree. So it made a mistake. And how then? Is that then the robo-taxi needs to pay for that?
Yeah, so basically, currently is the robo-taxi operator who will be taking the responsibility. Although I would argue the responsibility will be clearly defined. It's a hardware issue or it's a software issue or which part of it went wrong. So it can be then clearly defined and traced back. So I think everything is traceable because it's all computer, it's all recorded. It's basically on recording all the time. So, yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the two leading nations in this technology, clearly U.S. and China? And I think you've told us that they've roughly the same number of vehicles on the road, about 5,000 in each country. Is there a difference in the technological approach that has been taken in the U.S. and China in terms of the underlying technology? Is one superior to the other, or are they different approaches? Or are they kind of converging on the same type of technology here?
I would say technology-wise, it's now increasingly a commodity. So I think the narrative of autonomous driving has been shifting from technology differentiation towards commercial scaling. So technology, if you can do it, roughly I would say China, US.
So basically you say a US autonomous taxi, a robotaxi, and a Chinese robotaxi, technology-wise, it's exactly the same.
It's largely the same. I would even argue the company difference is more of a difference than the country difference. China robotaxi companies such as Pony and WeRide, they have LiDAR sensors. But if Tesla is
LiDAR being a form of a sensor,
sort of radar,
like a type of radar sensor.
It can see longer distance than radar, so that's LiDAR. But for Tesla, they also run pilot robotaxi program, but they insist no LiDAR, only visual camera. Mm-hmm. So I think the technology do have some deviations, but
and then if they are roughly technologically comparable, even though the company differences are bigger than the national differences overall, as you put it, do you foresee then one country having the edge over time when it comes to revolutionizing the world into autonomous driving?
So both countries looks very dynamic. Both are heading for an explosive commercial pathway. Mm-hmm. But I would argue U.S., the whole return and revenue model is much better. Because you guys are traveling to U.S., you know the bill, right? So they can charge more.
So they charge much more.
They charge much more.
And the cost would be almost the same because the technology is not too different, you say, right?
Actually, no. I would say the China cost structure is much, much better because we have this whole supply chain here. The sensors cost, the processing chips cost has been materially more
so it's the same technology, lower cost in China. It's more expensive in the US, but cost-wise, but they can charge much more because it's quite cheap in China.
Exactly, because China is a cost structure is more favorable, so it has a better scaling potential.
Well, Herald, first of all, I'm blown away by this. Thank you for joining us, Yuqian. You're talking about 500,000 of these vehicles being deployed in the next 3 years. The technology has matured. You can use it as a robotaxi. You can use it for personal purposes as well.
And they're rolling it out now.
And they're rolling it out. And it's not a future hypothetical thing. It's happening this month with a new model coming. But Herald, this leads me to one great idea. Mm-hmm. You and I, not being the best drivers ourselves, we're going to take Under the Banyan Tree on a road trip across China in an autonomous vehicle, and we'll just record episode by episode.
And we have the podcast pot inside, so we can just sit and chat away.
We chat away, and that will be
Under the Banyan Tree on the road.
Excellent.
And on that note, it's goodbye from the three of us. Thanks for listening, and please do subscribe to Under the Banyan Tree on your podcast platform of choice if you haven't already.
Indeed, and that also applies to our sister podcast, The Macro Brief from London. Under the Banyan Tree is an HSBC Global Investment Research production produced by Graham Mackay. We'll be back again next week.
Thank you for joining us at HSBC Global Viewpoint. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. Make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with new episodes.